Okay, let's see how much I have to, I'm able to get through before I have to work. This is Starship Merchants. Blue opened things up, moving up here, buying itself the big M3 tug. Part of the reason for the tug decision was because they wanted to use their pilot Morbius. They already had capacity with the Scout to carry everything. They figure they need more capacity overall. Their way of winning is to try to take advantage of these refineries. That's their goal. They have the biggest boost in refineries out of anyone. Red, though, purple though, even tonight, also moved in there. Now they have enough cash to buy a new ship, but they believe that they have almost as good a setup as Blue does, and they want to try to run these M2s. If they bought the M3, that would leave an M4 open to crush their two M2s. Yeah, it would probably hurt everyone else too. He only has one M2. He only has one, but he'd be sitting on two, and he'd be the most likely to buy it next. Definitely an issue there, but it looks to me like there's a very good chance that I can make this run, get my $100, and turn in and say, hey, end it now. You know, I'm not paying a lot of attention to how much cash everybody has. I don't know how open that should be. Obviously, all the information generating it's open, but you could kind of hide your money like you would in an 1830 game. Red over here ran and used their little special sneak look at everything piece. Remember, their tug is obsolete. They can't use that. And they managed some pretty good draws. Now, this is really one of them was claimed. The rest, one, two, three, four, five. They pulled 5 movement. That gave them 1 to get this ice delivery bonus. There was a bigger ice delivery bonus here. They didn't want to buy that because they don't have a lot of extra movement capacity on this ship. They have all this exploration capacity. But they got pretty lucky. 3 ices, 3 extra bucks. They were drawing for ices there. Now over to green, they also moved in here for very similar reasons to purple. They chose not to buy that additional ship. It's a harder call with green because they don't have the obvious factories in place. I'm not sure that they're making the right move here. They may want to have broken things up a little bit. They may be playing for second, as it were, at this point. On the other hand, there is some randomness, and they do have some interesting differences in their setup of mines. The big question now comes to, does red shake it up? Or is red going to make so much money that they're actually the ones in the lead, and purple and green made the mistake of not buying a ship and shaking things up? Don't know. Now we hit the equipment stage for most of the players, and the tug managed to pick up this survey robot. It's a little late to be doing things like that, but he does need to collect more mines. He's also playing with this thought of a longer game than I think anyone else is playing with. We'll see. Red hasn't decided yet. Over here, geez, I think he added a mining module. And again, these people are also claiming an asteroid in each case. A cinnamon stick, a berry. Let's jump over to green because he's in the same position. He also claimed a berry. But he was unable to find anything he wanted. He ditched a tile and drew the survey robot. Basically, this mining module, it's unlikely that extra piece of space is gonna bring him $6, which is why he doesn't want to own it. He's only gonna go around, well, if he goes around twice, it does. So it was kind of a mistake to pass on that. What I was looking at definitely was this deuterium plant that processes berries. Would have only brought him $4 each run, and I thought, well, that'll only bring 8. This probably actually would have brought money. He's got a lot of hold capacity, though, for his ships. This one's only got 1 extra energy. This one here has a hold capacity of 3, but this thing costs at least 3 to fill, so that's already carrying as much as it sort of can and been converted into some kind of tug. So yeah, I could have used the hold on my tug. What do we see? 4, 7, and I had enough process for it. I probably should have bought that instead. In fact, yeah, I'm not going to take it back. But that probably dooms him somewhat. Over on red, he collected in the dock and he got 50 something bucks, 55, maybe 60, I'm not sure. Enough to be scary. Now the question for him is he more productive than purple or green, or does he want to buy that 3rd scout? That'll guarantee, you know, that 30, or the Mark III, whether it's a scout or a tug, that 30 something bucks more or less will guarantee he will not win if they declare it early. And he can't really afford to buy a ship in that condition, except, bang, that knocks purple out completely. No, it doesn't, because he'd have to get it to the Mark IV, and he doesn't have enough ability to buy ships to do so. So I think what we're going to see is the ships just don't come out this time. And the same happened in my 2-player game. Same happens so much in 2038. Somebody has to make a conscious effort to push the ships out, basically losing the game to do so. And it feels like it's the same kind of situation here. I'm sure there are conditions where multiple people can agree to push it out. It could have been done with blue standing behind a turn to do so. But what do they gain? Because red comes up and buys a ship too, and now, well, at least they'd be in the running. But I'm not sure that red would agree to that, and there's no way it would happen without an agreement, I think. Alright, went around twice quickly. The Belters pretty much have filled up their ships. They only have 2 ships each now. Nothing too exciting here. I mean, you know, there's always this decision in this calculation based on the changing elements of these cards, but without zooming in on the specifics of the decisions, it doesn't do much, and I don't want to do that right now. Red moved into here. He did pick up a set of grapples. His bonus pilot makes it so cheap that even if someone ends it here, he still thinks he can make money off that extra grapple. That's only a $5 investment. For him, it's a $3 investment. Almost any mine is going to be worth that much, and of course claiming another object. Alright, it's after work. I should be able to finish this pretty quickly. I think it's almost done. Okay, well, the blue player has pulled into the dock. He collected only 60 bucks. That's all he has on hand after this. That's a goodly amount of money, but that's all he's got. But here's the thing, he's in there first. Purple pulls in, I think 55 in. That brings them exactly to 100 bucks. At this point, they have to make their decision. Are they going to call the game or not? I think they're going to, even though everybody else is running short. And they probably won't get... See, here's the thing. Some of these other players, for example, red here, has a couple of spaces to go. They probably will score more points total, but that 10-point bonus plus the money as red makes their way through should give them enough on them. Their biggest worry is maybe green. They think they're ahead of green overall. The 10-point bonus should give them the edge there. Blue, is it a big deal? Well, blue's going to be going around for quite some time. They should have bought the extra ship, I think, if anything, if they're going to be spending that whole time going around the board, because they're going to lose, you know, 15, 20 bucks anyway here. But we'll see if their longer game that they're going to get makes up for the money that purple is able to put aside right now. Right now they're so far behind, and that extra money, well, they should be able to make up most of that, but they're so far behind that, you know, they should be able to more than make up for the 25 bucks or whatever they're going to spend running through here. Well, actually, 4 is 20, 25, make it 35 for the 10-point bonus for the dock itself. They should easily make that up. They made 60 bucks this time. They should probably make that again, maybe more. But their problem is, and by the way, these are all going to stay on here if they declare a victory, because actually they're not available for other people to take anymore after a victory is declared. I am going to go for it. I think I've got the two closest people covered, and I think that the difference, the 40-buck difference between us, even though blue's going to make some ground, is more than they're going to be able to cover. 40 bucks plus the other 35, that's 75. That's a lot of money. We'll see though. Alright, so we're declaring the victory there. Red is next, and we'll start loading up their ships. That victory gives me a quick 10 bucks. Pushing through, we can see the red player starts filling up one of his holds. Green made it in. They're netting out at 96. That's not going to be enough to do it. They're behind the 110 here. That 10-buck bonus for getting there wasn't even necessary. So he didn't have that good a line, but it does mean he freezes up some of the commodities there. On the other hand, at least for red especially, there's some stuff available here to pick up. Of course, most of it's already here. The question is, can he beat a 4? That's really the run. His tug can start drawing for ice, which has the possibility of beating a 4. But he doesn't have a lot of leeway here. He's got 8 movement and 5 holds. So he's got a few extra draws, but maybe he wants to use them to get a bonus here. None of these are very appealing right now, but sweeping them might be. We'll see. Alright, another time around. Blue's in the shipyard. They certainly do not want another ship. They don't think they can do this, but spending, what, 30 bucks on another ship, they're not going to make. Are they? See, there's another 5 bucks for sitting here on everyone. Would they make the would they make 30 bucks back? Well, let's say they got this sucker, the tug, and filled it up with 5. Now they're not going to have a lot of ice available. They know that. 5 of these would be worth maybe 20 bucks. Maybe a bonus makes it to 30. I think they're just going to try to run through. It's easier to do that way. Red is the only other player who got to go. They loaded up this on ice and managed to sweep some aside and get this extra 5-buck delivery. Their little scanner didn't help them with this. They ended up getting some of these cinnamon sticks. They had berries in here. They had other options here that would have worked better. What they couldn't do is they didn't have enough points once they got this to be able to afford stealing one of Blue's ices, which they would have loved to do, because that would give them, well, not that they needed it for this, but that would give them an extra point and would take points away from Blue. Chances are Blue won't even be paying the 6 bucks on a claim, because the best they can kind of do on that is get 4 back. So it's just not worth it. Over here, well, both of these players got an extra 5 bucks running around because they're stuck there in the dock. Around another time, Red's in here now after making their delivery. They only made 56 bucks, which is not enough. That turns this in. They're also here at 109 to his 120. to his 106 at the end of the turn after collecting the 5. So it looks to me like red's got second place, unless blue can pull out a victory. Oh, well, can pull out ahead of anyone. We're not sure if they can. We'll see. Speaking of blue, I ignored their actions. They had an option to buy grapples. They chose not to. They could buy the deuterium plant, or berries plant. They chose not to. None of these things would bring them money. The grapples would. $5 they'd be able to haul an extra one of these for 6, except their energy requirements don't look like they can make it. This guy's got 5 for 3. He might have been able to do it. Yeah, let's buy it for that. I know I haven't done this on anyone, but that looks like it can actually work. And this is the end of the game where everything's calculated. He's going to be able to pick up 3. No, that doesn't make sense either. I'm terrible at adding at simple addition type games. And I hate doing that kind of aspect. So he does not have this. The reason is this only carries 5. He has to grab. He's got 5 energy. He can grab 3. 1, 2, 3 out of 5 means he has 2 left. That's not enough to both pick something up and use that extra expense for that. So he's just a little short. Plus, maybe he can use those extra points to get a bonus in here. That might actually be worth more than the $6 he gets from one of these connections. So that extra energy might be fine for him. Okay, as blue picked up their stuff, everybody else got 10 more bucks on them. I don't think there's much chance of blue catching up. But what blue was able to do, this just picked up his load here and got an extra, used the extra energy to get that $2 thing. That drew a card that was very interesting. Well, no, actually it didn't. It drew something useless. This guy ended up sweeping the deck and seeing, or sweeping the cards from the destinations and seeing, hey, this is not bad. So what his deal is he's going to deliver these 4. So he spent 1 to sweep. 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 1 more energy left over. He was able to pick this up for a 6th one. What's cool about this, even though it doesn't fill his deck completely, he's got a $6 bonus for an empty cargo hold, which is about what he'd be able to make. In fact, it's more than he'd be able to make by delivering another cinnamon stick, and unless he did an explore and got a particularly good one, 3. I don't know if there are 4s for these, are there? Yeah, there are. These guys are 4s. So there's a possibility he could have made a little bit more than just that. But then he gets another $5 for that. So that was far and away his best deal. Final round. He's going to come in and sell, but everybody else gets yet another $5. We'll see how much he made. All right, blue pulled in a big $69 off his haul. Pretty good, actually. But everybody else gets another $5 after he pulls in. All right, now we do just add up. And really, we know what our positioning is between these players. The only real question is, where does blue fall into all this? He's got 129. He's got 135. 124. 121. Very close game, and I have the suspicion that this game tends to be close, unless somebody takes a far divergent decision at the end of the game that's clearly a bad move, like buying a lot of spaceships or something that'll throw themselves off. But even there, they can make more money off those spaceships. We were looking at that additional spaceship. It would probably not come out too far from what the cost was. My assumption and calculation was it wouldn't have been worth it. Let's see what we were talking. Let's say it was, I don't know, a $30 scout. Well, if he hauled 4 things in, that would be 10, and those are worth 5 each, 20. So we're not talking about too big a difference. Anyway, I'm kind of impressed that blue came in second. They looked like they were falling way behind. Really, 135, 129. It's that $10 bonus for getting in first that won Purple the game. Interesting. I think that given how close I think the game will tend to be, that $10 bonus is probably a big deal. I know when my wife and I played, she was shocked at how close she got to winning. She felt like I really knew what I was doing and she didn't know what she was doing, and still ended up in a pretty decent position. Which I think is, I don't know if that's a positive or negative, to tell you the truth. I mean, if you're sitting there not knowing what you're doing and you still come in pretty close to the victory, there's sort of a feeling of, well, gee, why, why did I feel so lost when I'm not? But I think that's just the nature of the game. I really strongly suspect that the person who engineers and plays with this the best is going to really have a strong advantage over someone who's just kind of flowing with it. But it is kind of disturbing to see, I didn't come in that far behind, and I put no effort in at all. I can imagine people making that statement. Look, you were busy calculating everything out, and I still came within 10 points of you. Yeah. All right, up this goes. I'll come back with a review.